Alright, so we're back for part 3, final part. So this shows a stream with low sediment bed load. That means that there aren't a lot of suspended particles, so you get good light penetration to support photosynthesis. You've got algae attached to rocks, plants attached to rocks, bacteria and insect larvae attached to rocks, protozoans attached to rocks, hiding places for fish. Very healthy stream. When we look at a stream with high sediment bed load, not as healthy for life. So clay, because it's so fine, it stays suspended in the water, and that's bad for light penetration. If there's no light penetration, no algae, no plants growing, no photosynthetic organisms growing. If anything was attached to the rocks, it gets scoured away by sediments running over the rocks. And there are no hiding places for little fish anymore, and all organisms get eliminated in this case. And here is a diagram of that on the Platte River. This ecosystem in Lexington, Nebraska gets these sandbars on it because of the high sediment load, and they shift and move with high water, preventing reestablishment of vegetation in these areas because they're constantly moving. So there's no way that vegetation can get a hold. And that kind of just compounds the problem. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about is a little bit about criteria pollutants. There are national recommended water quality criteria by the Environmental Protection Agency. They've listed 167 chemicals as criteria pollutants. Some of the problems with that, though, is that a lot of the naturally occurring compounds are in this criteria pollutants. So it's kind of hard to identify, did it come from a natural source or did it come from a man-made source? They have values that they give called maximum concentration values or continuous concentration values, and this is how they evaluate whether the water is suitable for drinking. The Safe Drinking Water Act, let's see, has a maximum contaminant levels for certain chemicals. One of the more interesting stories was the one about arsenic. Now, the Department of Health and Human Services has said, through tests, they know that arsenic is a carcinogen. It's known to cause cancer. And the values for, let's see, the CMC and CCC values for arsenic are 340 and 150 micrograms per liter. 1 microgram per liter is equal to 1 part per billion. For freshwater bodies, that's for arsenic, and for saltwater bodies, it's 69 to 36 micrograms per liter. Drinking water concentration, however, is set at 10 micrograms per liter. And this is the story about it. For years, the MCL concentration for arsenic was 50 micrograms per liter. U.S. Public Health warned services, and the World Health Organization warned against this. They said this is too high, it needs to be lowered. So the Clinton administration lowered it to 10 micrograms per liter. Now this was a pending thing because this was done kind of at the end of the Clinton administration. So before leaving office, the Clinton EPA administration determined that the MCL should be lowered. But when the Bush EPA administration came in, they said that the Clinton administration of the EPA's findings were not based on sound science. And they said that the science did not support the new rule. So they raised it, tried to actually, let's see, what did they do? Yeah, they tried to keep it at 50. In the end, this is what happened, though. the National Academy of Sciences put a report out urging the Bush administration to uphold the Clinton standards, and there was also urgings from the House and the Senate that came, and they did uphold the Clinton era rule of 10 micrograms per liter. And that's an interesting story that your book presents. And we are done with defining and identifying pollutants. Good luck on your quiz. After the quiz, watch the rest of Yes Men Fix the World. You are about an hour into that. Well, not about. You are exactly an hour into that documentary. Finish that. Thank you, Mrs. Lund. And thank you, students. I hope I didn't bore Mrs. Lund too much, so that she will come and sub for me again. I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.